Hey everyone, coming up on Sports Central, we have a flying tiger, a marathon maniac, and a cycling guru, and the very best in Polk County sports. Stick around for this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson, my co-host, Mr. Neal Duncan. Neal, silence is not golden, sir.
I wasn't sure where you're going. Hey, this first segment brought to us by Bright House Networks, great partner of tourism and sports marketing, and I'll let you finish your thought there.
I've got many thoughts.
I don't want you to finish your thoughts, not any of them.
Hey, as you well know, the Major League Baseball season is underway throughout the country, actually throughout the world. But right here in Lakeland, we have the Lakeland Flying Tigers, a namesake that goes back decades. A guy that doesn't go back so many decades is the general manager of the Flying Tigers, Mr. Dan Lauer. Dan, welcome to the show. And
thanks.
Lots of stuff going on this year with the Tigers, of course, at the Major League level. But the Flying Tigers, just a thrill a minute when you go out and watch the games. And we are going to get to my protest about not having Thirsty Thursdays anymore, but
you say it every.
I know.
It every time you see me, and we still do it.
But they don't call it Thirsty Thursday.
No, they just don't call you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we don't give you the memo.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dan, it's you know, of course, the days have just been absolutely gorgeous, and great time for baseball at any level. But right now, the excitement is brewing. You're in a new home temporarily, which has posed some challenges. But the game, the stuff that takes place on the field, it's still there.
The show goes on.
It does.
The show goes on. Yeah, I mean, we're at Henley Field this season. Obviously, with the renovations going on at Joker March's Stadium.
Which we can't talk about. It's a big secret.
That's not a secret. I just, things always change sometimes. So I just want to be on point. But no, we're at Henley Field this year, and it's actually been really good. I think there was some, question marks going in over there because of the age of the stadium and the capacity, limitations being only 1,000 capacity. So, but we've made it work. It's been fun. I was telling Neal earlier that it's just, everybody's right on top of the game. With the way the seating is, Florida Southern plays there, so obviously it's always in use. But it's been fun, and we're still doing things. We still do our Dollar Mondays and all of our same normal promotions. So it's been good.
Well, Paul's still out there.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about, it's funny how things come full circle because the Tigers used to spring train at Henley Field, and now the Flying Tigers are playing there because of the renovations. And it's neat the relationship between the city and, of course, Florida Southern College and the Tigers. And it's kind of neat to go out there and see the Flying Tigers playing there because of all the history, the Al Kalines of the world that used to do spring training there. Talk about that aspect of it.
It is, and actually it's funny that you mentioned Al, because actually one of our first couple of games there at Henley, we had to put the tarp on the field. And then we were waiting, and it was raining, so we were kind of in a delay. And I come off the field from pulling the tarp, and I see Al Kaline standing there. And I was like, I thought he was up in Detroit or something. Here he is, he's standing there. And he was asking how everything was going. I was like, oh, good. And I was like, have you seen underneath the stadium? Because that was where the old clubhouse and the used to be, underneath the stadium. So it was kind of a surreal moment for me thinking about the history of that place with, Babe Ruth and all those guys playing there. And sure enough, I'm walking underneath there with Al Kaline, a Hall of Famer from the Tigers, and we're underneath there, and we go in and we look at the old locker room that's like under there. It's not used for anything. It's old school. It looks like it could be in a museum, but it was so cool to think about being in there with that guy.
Right.
It was pretty cool. But there's a lot of history there, and it's been really well maintained, and Florida Southern has been great letting us use there and working with us on everything. So I think fans that have come have understood that and realized the significance of that ballpark, so it's been cool.
Yeah, I mean, even our Russ Mat teams, comment about it when they, for the collegiate baseball, of course it's the largest in the world, but, they come in, they play, and it's always an honor to play at Henley Field because of the history behind it, In fact, that would be a great location for the Florida State League, which is something coming to Polk County. But, you know,
Yeah. Well, the number.
one of many.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about the different events and the history of it. There might be some history being made. I know we can talk about the promotions again later in the segment because we want to make sure people are aware of those promotions that happen each year. But you got Kristen Stewart, who is leading all of minor league baseball in home runs right now for the Flying Tigers. Talk about that. Maybe he breaks the record.
Yeah, it would be cool. I mean, you know, the past few years we've had some good players, and I think, you know, just like anything in baseball and minor league sports, you know, you've always got talent, and they're always constantly moving, shifting, moving up or moving down, and that's just how minor leagues are. This year, we're very fortunate. We've got a tremendous team. Our bullpen is probably one of the strongest in the league, and this is always a pitcher's league. And this year, we've got Kristen Stewart, who all last year was down in West Michigan, and actually most of our team was down in Low A last year, and they won a championship. So now they come up here with us, and Kristen Stewart, he just hit his 12th home run on Wednesday, which was basically, you know, we were looking it up. We're like, man, he's getting up there. He's getting a lot. So we looked, and he was leading minor league baseball in home runs with 12. And even I think in the major leagues, I think the leading guy has 13, you know, home runs. So
is that a double-edged sword? Because you want your guys to do well, you want them to hit those home runs, but as soon as the Detroit notices what's going on, they move on to somewhere else.
I know, it is. You get nervous, I think, but it's great. I mean, that's what you want.
Right.
You know, I think at the end of the day, obviously, that's what we're here for. You know, the Flying Tigers and minor league is to get these guys in, train them, and move them up to the next level. And if you look at the big leagues now, there's a lot of guys on that big league roster that were in Lakeland, but just a few years ago. Steven Moya, who just got called up and played yesterday in last night's game, was here, you know, he was here a little bit last year rehabbing, but only here a few years ago. Tyler Collins is an everyday guy up there just about, you know, and Kyle Ryan in the bullpen, you know, an Auburndale kid, he's in their bullpen, and he was only here a few years ago. So when you look at that, yeah, you know, your team may be good for a while, and then kind of they move up, and maybe you're not as good, but I think that's the fun part about it, is seeing these guys work their way up.
Well, that's a testament to the program, though, too.
Yeah.
You know, the scouting and the program. You know, when you've got guys that are moving up, helping the, you know, AAA, you know, and then the bigs, whatever. And Kyle Ryan, great kid. I mean, he is just a down-home, regular kid. Played golf with him at the Major League Scramble this year and the year before. And you know, he can hit it a long ways. Never knows where it's going, but it's you know, he's still a good golfer. Yeah, give Verlander a run for his money.
And,
for
and
sure.
look at Chris Sale too, another local guy. I mean, on the White Sox, but still, I mean, he's having a phenomenal year. You know, so it's pretty neat. We've got some
a lot of talent coming out of Polk County.
Yeah, a lot of local talent.
Do you keep your eyes on the local high school teams and so on?
I don't personally.
Okay.
But you know, I probably should.
Yeah.
Considering how many guys keep coming out of here.
Yeah, I mean,
I probably should. So.
It's pretty impressive, and it's not just a spike here or there. I mean, it's been just a good track record of real talent coming out of Polk County.
I think the Leisure recently did something. There were 8 or 10 Polk County natives that are currently on active rosters in the Major League Baseball. And of course, June 14th, as you know, the Polk County All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And I always have to give a plug to the Flying Tigers and the Detroit Tigers. They always support that event, and we certainly appreciate that. But you know, never at a loss of individuals to recognize at that event. And I know a few years ago when you guys won the Florida State League, it had representation there. And so, does this current roster, does this team have the makings of maybe another championship run?
It feels like it, you know, and that was 2012, so that was 4 years ago.
Wow,
and it's crazy.
Well, it's time then, right?
It is time, right? So, but it feels good. You know, the team is good. I mean, it's a long season. You know, it's 140 games, and I think they've only played maybe 30. So there's a long ways to go. But the good thing about our league is it's split up into 2 halves. So, you know, around the middle part of June is when the first half ends. So it's kind of like right now you're in that race to like get as far ahead as you can and try to win that first half, so that, you know, not that you're going to relax the second half, but it's kind of like you aim. So it's kind of neat that you can clinch a playoff berth by the middle of June, and then you start fresh again. So, but it's interesting because generally the teams that may clinch playoff in the first half, they're a completely different team in the second half because of the reason players are moving up, they're moving on. So it is a double-edged sword, you know, because if you are doing well, you may not be doing well for long.
Dan, talk a little bit about 2017. Let's go back to the future.
Yeah.
And started out obviously with the governor's baseball dinner, something that we all have been planning for. It is a big deal, and the stadium opens up, right around that time, and then the All-Star game is in Lakeland.
Yeah.
I mean, it is going to be a busy season with a brand new venue. What does that mean for you guys in Detroit?
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's very exciting, and for us here in Lakeland, I mean, we've been waiting, for all of this stuff. We mentioned the governor's dinner and the All-Star game. I mean, that's a big deal for us. So we're going to showcase Lakeland and our ballpark and everything that we're capable of doing. And I think going into next year, I tell everybody that I talk to, because everybody always asks about the renovations and what's coming, what's going on. I just tell them, you will be blown away. And that's the only thing I want to say and can say about it. But people are going to be blown away. And when they come there, it's going to be phenomenal. And next year, we're going to blow you away. Yeah. And I think everything going forward, with all we're planning.
Well, we're working with Ron on another major event. It's the National Softball Association Adult World Series, Super Series. And finals takes place in October. While the opening barbecue, we're going to model after the Tigers barbecue. Let the guys go around and check out the new facility, and actually women too, because the best of the best are playing in this. So that'll be an exciting time as well. So, every time I look at something, I'm going, oh, there's another event going to Tigertown. There's another event going to Tigertown. But once again, it's pumping money back into the community and providing world-class entertainment, even for our visitors coming down. They want to watch the Lakeland Flying Tigers. And if people want information on tickets, and game schedule, all of this, and you play some pretty good teams, where do they go?
One of the best places, of course, is always to go to our website, which is just lakelandflyingtigers.com. But I'll tell you that our Facebook page, Lakeland Flying Tigers Baseball, it's probably a little bit more current and constant, up to date, because we're always updating things. We're always posting photos, information, maybe a current upcoming promotion. So that's a good place. And the other piece about that on our Facebook, you should check out our Facebook page, because there's an event page on the Flying Tigers Facebook, and you can go on there, and it's with the renovations, and you can always stay up to date on photos, and we do some videos and everything, so you can kind of take a look, at what's going on. So that's the best place. And tickets are only $5, So, and we are doing some kind of a Thirsty Thursday, 2-for-1 beers. So,
That's
you can't complain about it.
You could even call it Throwback Thursday, because you're at Henley Field. And do all of those types of things. But I'm getting the hook here from our our director over here, so I need to let you go. But we do appreciate you coming over. Spring training is over, but your season is just beginning. So anyway, congratulations. We're looking forward to bigger and better things out at Tigertown, and thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
You bet, Dan. Well, everybody, Flying Tigers, we've got some real talent here in Polk County. A new face on the block, the Tropics indoor soccer team. Their announcement, their press conference, we caught it on tape. Check this out, everybody. Mark and Neil will be back right after this.
On behalf of the Lakeland Center and the City of Lakeland, our Mayor Howard Wiggs, our City Manager Tony Delgado, and Polk County Sports Marketing, we want to welcome you all here and welcome officially the Florida Tropics to Lakeland. Welcome.
Once we got to meet with Tony and Scott, we saw that they were eager to try to make a win-win partnership, and that's really what we were looking for. We're not looking to come in and take. We want the arena to do well, and we want to be able to do well so we can have long-term success. The number of youth soccer participants within about a 40-minute drive of here is over 20,000. And that was one of the things that we looked at, because in St. Louis, we developed a club partner program for youth clubs. We've done the same thing here in Lakeland, and we have some of our club partners here today. It started out really well. We partnered with Winter Haven Youth Soccer. They're here, we thank you guys. Bartow Youth Soccer, North Lakeland Youth Soccer, Lake Wales, Lakeland Adult Soccer, and Heartland Soccer Club. So that's just the start of it that we've done over the last few months. We're looking to add to that list so that we can continue to be involved with the youth soccer players. We have some of our professional players up here. And once you get to meet those guys, they're great in the community. They love getting out there, coaching the kids. Leah and I have been in this business 15 years. And, you know, over the years, we've learned some things the hard way. We've learned some good things. So we're trying to take everything that we've learned over the years, along with what Andrew and Ryan and the rest of the crew has learned, to make this thing special. And there's one thing that will not happen, is no one will outwork us. And if you guys have followed us at all, we've done over 250 hours of community events already, just in the last few months. And to be honest, it's just getting started. You know, we haven't been full tilt because we haven't officially announced ourselves. So look for us in the community. If you have community events, we definitely want to be partnered with you. We just recently created a community partnership program. The SPCA was the first group to join that, but that's open to all community-related organizations.
We want to do this, we want to do it the right way. We really believe that coming down here to Florida and Lakeland is going to be a jumping off point for us down here in Florida. But our game is one of the most exciting games there is. I think it's much more exciting than outdoor soccer. Lots of scoring, lots of action, and it's tough. Everybody thinks soccer players are sissies. They're not. They're out here running around, getting boarded, and getting hit, and they're wearing t-shirts and shorts. That's it.
If you're a fan of hockey and you have a little bit of a love for soccer, you're going to love indoor soccer. Just the game itself, 5 field players, a goalkeeper, so essentially 6-on-6, fast back and forth action. You know, the outdoor game allows for 11 players and a limited substitution to take place. And so with indoor soccer, I'm going to play for a minute and a half, as fast as I can, as technical as I can, and I'm going to change with you, and you're going to come on. And that's going to repeat throughout the course of the game at the different positions. And so it keeps the game fan-friendly. There's always going to be goal-scoring opportunities. I think probably as a fan watching soccer, the one knock you would have is that there's limited goals that you get to see. And so the indoor game is much different. There's, I don't think I've ever seen a 0-0 or even a 1-goal indoor game. There's multiple goals, there's multiple goal scoring opportunities, and so it's a real opportunity for a fan to engage and feel a part of it, especially since the arena is the way it's set up and you're going to be right on top of the game. It's going to be fun to watch.
I think indoor soccer is the greatest game on earth. Not only for the fans that come, the young kids are so close to the players, the sponsors, you're between the turf logos and the uniform logos on the jerseys. It's just a special sport.
I've always thought that what Lakeland's looking for is a hometown team. And I think the Tropics can be that hometown team. I think there's enough youth soccer involved that would really get around something like this and behind it. So I really think that's a perfect opportunity for the Tropics to really build on that.
We have season tickets are on sale now, and without much effort, we're already over 100 season tickets. It's very, very promising, and it's very exciting.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson here, along with Mr. Neal Duncan.
Exciting stuff there. That is going to be fast-paced, fun action at the Lakeland Center there, the indoor soccer, and I'm looking forward to it. Also looking forward to this segment brought to us by the Hampton Inn in Winter Haven, great partners of tourism and sports.
Well, we promised a marathon maniac, and she really is a marathon maniac. There's an organization, but her real name is Gail Hardy, and she has run tons and tons of races throughout the country. Marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks, half marathons.
And she just learned not to tell Mark anything before the segment starts. So, Gail, welcome to Sports Central.
Thank you.
Tell us about the Marathon Maniacs before we go any further.
Well, it's just an organization. They also have half maniac clubs, and you have to do so many crazy things to get in. Run so many half marathons or marathons in a weekend, or back to back, or so many in a month, and
Oh, you actually have to run.
you actually have to qualify
so
for
the
these.
crazy
Yes.
things that Mark does aren't necessarily okay.
No.
Well, then we can move on.
Well, the longest distance you've ever run is what? From the living room to the bathroom, to whatever.
Sometimes the refrigerator.
Yeah, okay.
But
That's
Lakeland,
right.
that's right. The Lakeland Runners Club has been so active in really energizing Polk County and getting people to run in 5Ks and different events. First, talk to us about the Lakeland Runners Club so people can get more information about the club.
Well, the club itself is a not-for-profit, and we're all volunteers, and so we work to promote running, fitness, walking. We just try to get people involved, because if you're not training for something, you should be training for life. You have to stay active to continue to live healthy. So we do that through monthly meetings, we have education, we have group runs throughout the week, we have runs on the weekend. We just try to get people involved and educate them about the running and moving.
Well, you know, the barrier, the biggest, in running, you hit a lot of barriers, or the wall at different times. But it seems to me that the biggest barrier that people face is getting started. Do you have a program for helping people go from the couch to a 5K? That's actual program.
Yes.
And what does the Lakeland Runners Club do in those areas? You know, I know the watermelon series is unbelievable. I can tell a story about that one in a minute. But you know, you're involved in getting the community, particularly kids, fit.
Well, we do have a kids running program that's from like ages 5 to 10. We also have a middle school running program. We have certified coaches that run these programs. They meet once a week at Lakeland High School at the track and go over that, and we try to move them up into different races then as they get older and run better. For the adult runners, we try to bring them in our social group first. We'll run with them. If someone's new at one of our social runs, we stay with them. If they need to walk, then we walk with them. We get them going. We want to keep them going. And just bringing them into a group helps, because then they want to be involved.
How do you, I was just going to say, to further that question, how do you make it fun for them? And what I mean by that is, I remember this one t-shirt, and it's the best shirt I've ever seen. It was a running shirt saying, "My sport is your sport's punishment."
Yes.
You know, talking about if somebody messes up in baseball or football or whatever, all right, go, run laps or whatever. How do you combat that to, no, this is actually fun? I know it's punishment when you're playing baseball, but it's fun when you're actually doing it. How do you guys deal with that?
Well, in the kids running program, the coaches are awesome. They do cool downs with water guns.
Oh, really?
So the little kids have little squirt guns, and they're like squirting each other, and they're running, and they're having fun. And for the adults, we try to make it like after a race, like after the watermelon. It's a fun event, and it's free watermelon, so we're all down there eating watermelon and having a good time. We try to make it fun before the event, too. Also, people like to get awards, so we have really nice awards, food, parties. We just try to get people involved, and then we compete with each other. And at the clubs, at our meetings, we try to say, who's going to the next race? Where are you going? How many people are going? Oh, let's all get together there. So we try to meet up.
You know, you're talking about the club itself. Let's talk about you a little bit, because you know, I was reading part of your accolades and what you've accomplished and so on. I mean, you've run, I can't remember what the exact, I mean, but it's a ton of marathons, you know, and you just don't start running a marathon. How did you get started?
I was with a running group, and I kept running with my friends, and I kept saying, you know, out loud, I want to run a marathon one day. You know, I'd like to run a marathon. And finally somebody looked at me and said, just shut up and do it. And I was like, well, okay then. So I picked one, which was the Disney Marathon.
Oh, yeah.
And it was their first year, so that was in '94 was my first marathon. And I thought, if they can do it, so I went and did it. Not well, but I did it.
You finished.
Yes. And I've been running.
Which is the main thing anyway.
Yes.
It's not necessarily, about
Yeah,
the
because
result.
when anybody says, what are you trying for, what's your time, I said, to finish.
To finish, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've run marathons ever since.
Now, have you, in your travels, found, or not in your travels, but in your running, a race that's tougher than others? I know the longer you go, supposedly it's tougher, but for some people, like when I ran track, I hated the 880. Wouldn't do it, you know, and but I was more of a sprint guy anyway. But the fact of the matter is, for some people, certain races are harder. Is it just like a 5K just a walk in the park, or is a 10K tougher than a 5K? Is a 5K tougher than a 10K for you?
It depends on what you're training for. Since I train long distance, I'm better at long distance. I have to gear up different to run a 5K because then it's like a sprint. You have to keep going. I think my toughest race ever, I ran the Pikes Peak Marathon, which is 14,110 feet above sea level.
Yeah, Colorado Springs.
Yes, so it was up the trail and then turn around and come back down. And that was really tough.
I've done some mountain biking at Pikes
Up
Peak,
there, yeah.
but not that high. You know, more in the foothills and stuff like that. It's a gorgeous area, but that had to be brutal.
It was, and I'm running, and somebody next to me said, you know, if we were on an airplane, the oxygen mask would have dropped by now. I was like, ooh.
Like, I don't need to hear that.
Yeah, don't tell me that.
That's not encouragement. Well, the summer has kicked off quite a busy season for the Lakeland Runners Club, and it kicked off with the Mid-Florida Mayfair by the Lake, and that on the 7th, I believe it was. Great event there, but talk to us about the summer series.
Okay, Mayfair was awesome. We had like 1,200 runners. Our next race is the Watermelon Series, and that's 4 races.
My wife signs up and runs it every single year.
Oh, good.
She loves it. And her daughter, and the daughter and all of this stuff.
That's a really good one for beginners because it's a loop. There's no way to get lost. We gear up for all type of runners, so the clock, everything stays open. We don't care if it takes you an hour to get around the lake. We're still there. We're still serving watermelon, and we're still having fun. So that's a good one. It's on June 4th, June 25th, July 23rd, and August 20th. So that's a fun event to join.
Yeah, well, I think Mary Beth uses an excuse to go down and get those beignets at the, it's not Dunkin' Donut, but it's the, whatever that little shop is down there.
I'm going with her. And it's only $40.
It goes back to the social side of
yes,
things.
It's only $40 for the 4 races.
Oh, it's awesome. They get a shirt and they get watermelon, the whole deal. And that's the way she started. She started with the Couch to 5K, and that was her first series, and absolutely loves it. Now she's a blogger. She runs half marathons, does all that stuff, and she's just crazy about it. I go to the gym, do this. She goes running and does this. So, hey, to each his own. But she loves it. It's changed her. It was changed her life.
Yeah. After that, we have the Aiken Quad, which is really unusual.
That's another tough one.
Okay, that's 4 races in 24 hours. So you start with a 5K, then on Friday night, then Saturday morning at 7 a.m. it's a 1 mile. At 8:30 it's a 2 mile, and that night it's another 5K. And then it's a big party.
Back to the social side of things.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's kind of a social club that you just happen to run every once in a while. Sounds to me that's all. But we hear so many good things. One of the guys that one of our directors, Mark Zimmerman, of course, has been involved in the Lakeland Runners Club quite a bit, and he's really been instrumental in bringing a lot of these running events and helping these running events grow in Polk County. Because one, it's a healthy sport, but it's something that ultimately, for tourism and sports, puts heads in beds and makes cash registers ring.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a big deal here.
Well, we certainly appreciate it, and maybe we'll go out there and run something.
Could I just say
we'll run the food cart or something? How's that?
We also give back into the community. We give scholarships to students graduating, 6 scholarships. We give to the Polk Museum, Lakeland YMCA. So we're giving back too, plus the running.
Great organization. You're the president, and obviously you just take a look at the results, and you should be commended. And our hats are off to the Lakeland Runners Club because, in my opinion, it's one of the best in the country. So, great job. One more thing before we let you go: the website.
Yes, LakelandRunnersClub.org.
That's
and
simple.
also get us on Facebook.
Okay.
Lakeland Runners Club.
Faceplace. Gail, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Well, everybody, a couple of weeks ago, we had a member of the USA sitting volleyball team, part of the Paralympics. And she has traveled all over the world, was involved in a number of clinics, including one at Warner Southern University. The PGTV, the experts, the team went out there. Check out the action. You check it out as well. In the interim, Mark and Neil take a little bit of a break. We'll see you back here in just a minute.
About 3 years ago, I was offered the chance to be able to become the Warrior Games Army assistant coach for the sitting volleyball team for the Warrior Games. And this year I'm the head volleyball coach for the sitting volleyball team for the Warrior Games for the Army, to teach some clinics for the Florida region of USA Volleyball. And then meet Nikki Nueves, which is on the Paralympic team. And we've gone out for now 2 years and taught clinics around the state, introducing to the adapted sport of sitting volleyball. What I've done here is I've offered the military, the men and women have made the Invictus teams or the Warrior Games a chance to meet once a month to practice their sitting volleyball skill. So this is the third month that we've had it on a Sunday, and in the process of doing that, I was blessed to be able to meet some people in Lake Wales that work with the special populations, and invited the Circle of Friends Ministry, which is for the special populations, to come into here and work together and introduce the spirit of sitting volleyball to them and adapt the game to them now, and that's what's happening today. We have special populations within all of us, and it's just a service I believe that is necessary in our community, is to build community partnership with all different kinds of people, all of us together, so we can work together. And what this does, sitting volleyball, and because I'm a volleyball coach, is not the only adapted sport out there. There's so many different avenues for these men and women and these children and these special populations can participate, whether it's Special Olympics or adapted sports specifically, whether it's water sports or wheelchair basketball. But a lot of times, because of some of these people cannot sit in a wheelchair and turn the wheels, sitting volleyball is a great avenue for able and disabled students to come together, people to come together, special populations people to come together, and just have a really, really good time in fellowship and community.
I was in the United States Navy. I retired Navy Chief Petty Officer. I served from 2002 to 2014, and I was in 2 different subs, USS Montpelier and USS North Carolina. Between those, I did a short duty in Puerto Rico. I did an IA in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and right after my last sub, one night I was just going out on my motorcycle for a little meet and stuff, and on my way home I got hit by a car. It was a hit and run, and after that I was in the hospital for a couple months. I had like a week that I was in coma. Other than that, it's just rough recovery from here to there, yeah. That was in 2011. So from 2011 to now, it's been a long road, you know. I kept my leg 2 years after that. 2012, after, for the first time seeing adapted sports when the Navy brought the Pacific trials up to Hawaii, I saw a bunch of guys walking around in prosthetics and stuff like that. And me and my wife saw them, and that's when we decided that kind of was like the right way or the right thing to do for me to move forward. A lot of times, like before my injury, I didn't know anything about adaptive sports. You know, you kind of, not the best mindset and not the mindset I had, but I saw, you know, it's like 2 different worlds, you know. I had my normal job, my normal things, and I knew of Paralympics and stuff like that, but it was kind of something separate that you don't pay too much attention. But now, after me being on this side and helping me recover, and after all these years, seeing that I'm doing it alongside people that are able bodies, and seeing that, you know, it's not 2 worlds or it's not 2 different things, it's just one thing, everybody's together. So it doesn't matter your disability or your illness or your injury or what you do or what not, it's everybody together playing for the same sport. You know, it's something that everybody, it's the same, it's one love. So.
One of our favorite sayings is, you know, a lot of people talk about we're small fish in the sea. Well, I want to be that small fish in the sea that makes great waves. And I'm hoping that that's what's happening here, and the ripple effect will be forever.
Everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson along with Mr. Neal Duncan.
Thought you forgot for a second. This third
Dementia
segment.
is a horrible thing.
This third segment brought to us by Hollywood Window Tinting and Signs right here in Bartow, Florida. Great partner of tourism and sports, and
Pretty
really,
amazing athletes.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that with the development of the new water ski complex out at Lake Myrtle and moving USA Water Ski, the Olympic Committee's governing body of the sport, the museums and everything else out there, is a big focus on adaptive sports, including water skiing, but not exclusively. So in an effort to get become the 19th official Olympic training center in the United States, the Paralympic side is really important because there are Olympic Games, Paralympic Games. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting times here in Polk County, Neil.
Well, and it just is a testament to
They're good athletes.
the vision of folks here in the county of really embracing all types of sports and all types of events and all types, when you start the arts and culture and sporting events, and at the end of the day, it's about people and it's about the economic impact that it brings to Polk County.
Jobs.
So we're very blessed here in Polk County.
Yep. Well, one of the things we promised you was a flying tiger. Check. A marathon maniac. Check. Now, a cycling guru. His name, Brad Romp. Brad, you're with the MS Society Citrus Tour.
Yes.
I think I got that right.
Yep.
And great organization, great cause. Tell us a little bit about the Central Florida MS group and what you guys are all about, including your I don't know if I should say award-winning, but the team, the Rockwell team, that raises more funds for this ride than any other.
Right. Well, I got involved about 10 years ago. This is the 29th year that the MS Society has been around. So we're working on our 30th year this coming next year. And the MS Society has a chapter in Orlando and has a chapter in Tampa as well. And together they have about anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 riders each year. Anywhere from April to May is when the event is. This year the event is the 21st and 22nd of May, and it is from Fantasia Flights, which is off I-4, and it goes to the Omni Champions Gate. That's the first time that they've had it there. In the past year, they've had it at Bach Tower, right around the corner here, to Orlando and back. So the ride consists of 2 days. It's 50 miles, 75 miles, or 100 miles the first day, and then the second day is 50 miles. So I've elected to do the 100-mile Century Ride each year, and this will be my 8th year that I've ridden the 100-mile ride. And in Team Rockwell, we're made up of a bunch of people in the Tampa Bay area, and we've raised close to $65,000, $70,000, our own team itself, with about 65 riders. And on our team, we have, I think, two people that we have MS that ride in the ride itself. And actually ride, yeah. I'm one of them, and it's a great group of people, not just Team Rockwell, but the whole chapter itself and all those teams that form for this, event each year.
Well, talk to us. Obviously, you talked about being one of the riders with MS. Talk to us about maybe how things have, why it's important to have events like this, because obviously research and there's not enough known about MS, and just kind of how you've seen it evolve over the years.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's a very silent disease, unfortunately. I have it, I live with it, and I deal with it. So some of my neighbors told me about the MS Society when I first got diagnosed back in 2006, and I wasn't able to ride it in my first year. The second year, I rode it, and then I got hurt. I was skiing, and I busted my knee up, tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus, so I was out for 1 year. But I've ridden, and this will be my 8th year of doing the 100-mile ride. So living with MS, I had challenges, obstacles. I took it upon myself to get back on my bike when I could, and same as golfing. I love golfing as well, and just one day at a time. And I've taken a negative and turned it into a positive, basically. So I've done a 180-degree turn in my life, and it's not about me, it's about those children that are living with MS that are less fortunate, or even elderly people that are older than me that have MS that can't get on a bike. And it's all about a positive outlook in life and taking one day at a time, and get yourself out there, you know, the way you eat, the way you work out, getting on a bike, incumbent bike or a regular bike, and just getting out there, you know, to get awareness of it.
Brad, you know, just obviously just looking at you, you look like you're very fit, you're an athlete. A lot of people don't know, I personally do because of friends or whatever that have had MS. And you can see the debilitating and a progressive or regressive part of the disease. But I mean, you look as normal as the next guy, and obviously you're a jock. You're out, you know, golfing, working out, doing all these types of things. How does it, you know, impact you, and what are some of those hurdles that you have?
Oh gosh, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. Thankfully for my wife and my kids, and friends in the neighborhood, they've all, you know, stood behind me, and my parents. It's just taken one day at a time. I can remember even sitting here, I have no feeling in my left arm and both my legs. The only way I can explain it is, you know, when you fall asleep on your arm or your leg, that feeling, that's 24/7 in both my legs and in my arm.
Wow.
Equilibrium, kind of vertigo, falling in a shower. I fall in a shower. But again, it's about your outlook in life and what you want to do. So I take, you know, one step at a time. I've had my dark days where I'm like, why is this me? Why is this happening to me? Instead, I look at other people that are less fortunate than me, that have optic neuritis, they can't see, or they have club leg, or they're using a walker or a wheelchair, and I refuse to lose in this battle. And again, it's surrounding myself with the right people, again, with my family, the way they support me. And the MS Society, that's actually, I reached out to them, and that's changed my life, getting involved with the MS Society, with the walks, with the rides. Actually, the MS Society itself is the largest fundraising for bike in the country. There's over, I believe, if I have this correct, there's over 10,000 people just in the Central Florida area that are living with MS, 2.3 million people in the country that are living with MS. So that's an alarming number of people that have this disease that is uncurable. And in fact, today, before we started to get on here, I just got a call from my neurologist that I don't have any additional lesions on my brain, which is a huge positive for me today, because I've been on pins and needles for the last few days to get my results back. So you generally get every 6 months, every year, every 2 years. I just had my 2-year checkup. So that's a good sign that I don't have any additional lesions, and I'm doing the right thing right and being progressive with it.
That's terrific. And congratulations on that phone
Thank
call.
you very much.
We're very happy for you. Looking at Bike MS, would you agree that it's not only about raising funds for research, but it's also about raising awareness? Because I think you said 2.6 million people. 2.3? There needs to be more awareness of the disease, and so it's kind of a double reason for the event, right?
It is, and that's the problem. And it's amazing, from Pinellas to Hillsborough County to Polk County, all surrounding cities down in Sarasota, there's not enough people that know enough about MS. A lot of people keep it very quiet. I don't. As you can see, I'm a very positive, outlooking person that I want to make a change in people's lives. It's not about Brad Romp, it's about those people that are less fortunate, and bringing awareness. For me to sacrifice myself to ride 100 miles in one day and to raise $9,000 to $10,000 myself in a month and a half time, that's for those people that, for wheelchairs, for their medicine, for shower rails. Medicine can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000, so it's very expensive. So the MS Society has really trying to capture the audience of people in Polk County and Hillsborough County and Pinellas County to get involved with the bike ride itself.
You know, it's one step at a time, or one pedal at a time, or whatever it is.
Exactly.
You know, so it's obviously, I've seen my share of it, but you know, it's a tough situation. People want more information about MS, or they know somebody that has MS, or would like to get them involved or support the organization. How do they do that?
Bikems.org. They can go right there. It will show a lot. The Mid-Florida chapter, go to nationalmssociety.org. Will show all the different events and more about MS, what MS is, what the symptoms are of MS, and all the different rides and walks that are all over the country. Yeah. You can go to those websites, and there's Facebook pages as well.
Well, that's some fantastic stuff, and you know, the Polk County is proud to be a part of what's become a 29-year tradition, which is like really impressive. And you've been a big part of it. The organization is fantastic, and we salute you, and at the same time, thank you for what you're doing for.
Well, we appreciate very much allowing us to talk about it and get our name out there and exposure with it. So thank you for the time.
Well, Brad, thanks again. Best of luck. And oh, you know, one thing we forgot, we got the website, but the whole thing. What are the dates?
Oh, May 21st and 22nd, which is a Saturday and Sunday of this month, May 21st, 22nd.
It starts at Fantasy of Flight, so you can go to
Fantasy of Flights and goes to the Omni Champions Gate, and then it turns around and comes back to the Fantasy of Flights on the 22nd.
Fantastic. Terrific.
Great event.
All right. Wow, some great stuff happening here in Polk County. But another event that's coming up the 27th through the 28th is the Round and Square Dancing Convention. The state convention, yes, right here in Polk County, actually in Lakeland. Check this out, everybody. Mark and Neal will be back soon with our local update and what's happening here in Polk County. Stick around.
I'm Brad West, and I'm here at the 59th Florida State Square and Round Dance Convention. We're going to take a look today at what is square dancing, round dancing, and maybe even find out what these dangle badges are all about. So let's go. I'm here with Cheryl. She's the co-chairman. Cheryl, could you tell me what we've got going on today?
Yes, we have the 59th Florida State Square and Round Dance Convention that's held on Memorial Day weekend every year in Lakeland at the Lakeland Center. We do square and round dancing, line dancing. We're actually the American folk dance of Florida. So we come out every Memorial Day weekend and dance.
All right. And what's your average attendance for an event like this?
Our average attendance is probably about 400 to 600 people.
Now, is this a competition or is this for fun?
No, square dancing is not competition. It is basically for fun. It gives you fitness, because it gives you the opportunity of walking. It's not running. It's not fast-paced. I hope you get some of the dancers dancing to see.
You passed me by one summer day, flashed those big brown eyes my way. I knew I wanted you forevermore. Doing Alabama left with the corner girl. Don't side go your own. Alabama left that corner.
I'm here with Robert Padgett, who's a caller here at the convention. Robert, explain what a caller does.
Well, what a caller does is we give the instructions to the dancers for the various figures that they have to do during the dance. Really, all square dancing is choreographed walking. If you know your left from your right and you know you have two good feet and you can walk without impediment, anybody can square dance. So.
Finally, a dance I might be able to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Where did square dancing originate from?
Well, square dancing is really the only dance form that's native to the United States. It started with the Morris line dances in England and the French ballroom court dances in France. Our ancestors brought that over here. Things were transmitted by word of mouth and by rote, and before you knew it, some things got changed, some things got added, and the next thing you know, we had something very unique called square dancing, unique to the United States. Hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, meet your road and your promenade. I knew Mary Lou. We never part, so hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye.
I'm here with Judy Anderson, the chairman of Dangle Dances. Judy, what is a dangle dance?
This is where we get together and square dance, of course, but we're given different chores to do. Like we just danced with pails, where everybody had a sand pail with a shovel in it. They had to pass it around and get rid of it as soon as they could and get rid of as many as they could.
Now, what is the craziest dangle dance that you have done?
Oh my goodness, I've done so many. This one we're doing now is quite a bit of fun because it's a play on words. We're dancing with a thong, but the thong is a shoe that you have tied around your neck and it dangles down your back.
And do you know where dangle dances came from, or?
I think somebody just wanted something to do one day, and this is what they did to keep people interested and to get them started in learning how to square dance.
Well, it looks like a lot of fun.
It's a terrific amount of fun, and I recommend anybody doing it and get in with the dangle dances because this really keeps us going. It is crazy stuff to do.
Now the side square through, for after the ring they're gonna fly to the right and left through.
I'm here with Barbara McDonald, a first-time participant here at the convention. Barbara, what got you into square dancing?
Well, we got into it for fun, and we got into it in the 70s.
And how did you hear about this convention?
Well, we joined a square dance club about 2 years ago, and we hadn't danced in like 20 years, so it was getting back into square dancing, and we felt comfortable coming here and learning some more with the advanced dancing.
And now we learned about dangle dances earlier, and I've noticed you have some dangles, right?
Yeah, dangles.
What's the craziest one, the wackiest one that you've done?
The wackiest one is we danced at two oceans. When we were in Panama, we danced at the Atlantic side and the Pacific side in one day. So you don't get that one very often.
Very cool.
Now the side square through, for after the ring they're gonna fly to the right and left through.
We encourage anyone to come out that is interested in square dancing to come and see what it's about, and we'll get you hooked up in a class and you'll be having as much fun as we are.
Well, the crowd thinks I'm a dandy, I'm Bandy the rodeo clown.
Well, that's all I have from the Square and Round Dance Convention. Now I'm going to go see if I can go earn myself a dangle.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Segment number 4. Mr. Duncan, you got the giggles today.
This fourth segment brought to us by Spectra. Of course, they're at the Lakeland Center, a great partner. So all your event needs at the Lakeland Center, and they do catering as well. So check out Spectra. Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Just had lunch over there for a meeting the other day, and it was outstanding, including the dessert. I can eat my chocolate cake first. Now I'm an adult.
You're a senior adult. But, hey, real quick, we want to say congratulations. Lakeland Christian repeats in softball as a state champion. I believe that's in 3A. Bartow High School wins the Class 8A girls state championship, and Lake Region was runner-up in 7A, I believe, and Auburndale lost by 1 run in the state semifinals. So girls softball, banner year for them, 2 state championships, 1 runner-up, and 1 Final Four participant. So
a lot of
amazing
talent, a lot of good coaching here in Polk County, and
absolutely.
it's it's certainly evident when we host or attend National Softball Association or our own homegrown Independent Softball Association World Series and National Championship. So great time had by one and all. Speaking of great events, Neil, there's so much going on right now. Sometimes you just pass yourself in the hallway because all the stuff that's going on. But the 21st, Saturday, the 21st, the Lakeland Police Foundation has its inaugural, very first time, Fallen Heroes Memorial 5K. And you can check that out at lakelandpolicefoundation.com for more information. I believe FitNitch as well has information on it, and they're involved in everything.
Yeah, they really are. There's the one at the Lakeland Center, which is for county-wide, and then this one is going to be for Lakeland officers, and it'll be right outside of the police station there. But absolutely a worthy cause, and check that out. The Lakeland Police Foundation inaugural Fallen Heroes Memorial 5K on the 21st of May.
Soccer.
Yep.
huge here. Of course, the governing body of the sport in the state of Florida is the Florida Youth Soccer Association, based at the Lake Myrtle Sports Complex Business Cluster, as well as the Florida State Soccer Association, which deals with all the adults. And they too are based at the Lake Myrtle Sports Complex, their own building, and so on. However, the State Cup finals for the U14s and U18s will be held. These are the finals now. It's all led up to this. I mean, the championships and on, boom, 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 boom. The 21st and the 22nd, that place is going to be rocking with soccer players, and certainly hotels are going to be packed. I mean, that's a busy, busy weekend, followed ever so closely by one of your favorites, of course, basketball.
Yeah, Youth Basketball of America. They are a great partner of Polk County, and you can go to FloridaYBOA.com for a full list of their events. But on the 27th through the 29th will be their Summer Slam. It's not a wrestling event. It's not SummerSlam. Like, don't want any confusion there with the WWE or whatever that is. But Youth Basketball of America, the 27th through the 29th, about 40 teams will be in that event. Great tournament, and they have long been great producers of economic impact in Polk County, partnering with tourism and sports marketing.
The Florida Skydiving Center, which is in Lake Wales, is hosting the National Parachuting Championships.
Pretty cool.
Unbelievable. Well, 7 people that won't be competing because they had a little accident out in California yesterday. Plane went down.
Oh, no.
Police get there, ambulances get there, they're all standing in a circle.
Oh, really? I didn't even heard this
It was
story.
unbelievable.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great, great story.
Will that be the 27th through the 2nd of June out there in Lake Wales?
Yeah, so you can actually go to Lake Wales, go to the airport there, and just driving around in the area, look up. You'll see them. Some great action. It's really a lot of fun. If you're interested in skydiving, of course, the Florida Skydiving Center at the at the Lake Wales Airport. Some great action there. And
yeah, I know we're running a little short on time. So Florida Youth Soccer Association, the U19, will be at Lake Myrtle the 28th and 29th. So State Cup finals.
Yeah, never slow.
No.
At Lake Myrtle. In fact, it's so doggone busy. Actually have to schedule times for the grass to rest because they just burn it out. We're playing on dirt pretty doggone soon. And one that we're real proud of, just hosted the military officers. Of course, Gary Clark was on the show a couple of weeks ago talking about the Military Officers Association of America convention just took place. Now the Military Order of the Purple Heart convention is going to be in Lakeland, and that's coming up June 1st through June 5th, MOPH. And if you are a military veteran, you may want to check that out. It is at the Lakeland Center. This is the state convention, so some great action going on there. And our hats off to Tony Camarillo and Scott Sloman and the crew over there, because they do an unbelievable job. And with the renovations coming up, everybody, it is going to be an exciting place here in the next couple of years. 5 big projects, and Neil, we probably need to do a segment about that in our next show, because it is going to be impacting everybody in the county in a very, very big way.
Speaking of the Lakeland Center, I know we've only got less than a couple of minutes left here. The Florida Hot Sauce Expo, that'll be June 11th and 12th at the Lakeland Center. That's a new event, so you definitely want to check that out. You also want to go to the Miss Florida Scholarship Pageant, June 28th through July 2nd. All kinds of information.
The Miss Florida. I mean, this is not an imposter. This is the real deal. And then they go on to Miss America. And what a
Yuki Theater.
They've been really some fun people to work with. You know, Miss Florida, is just Mary Catherine.
Yeah. Mary Catherine
Factel. Yeah. She has been a real blessing to Polk County, done a lot of charity work and other things. So, Neil?
Yep. Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill, the Trophy Shop, Legoland Florida Resort, Hampton Inn Lakeside, and the Ledger Media Group, some of the sponsors that made this program possible today.
Well, folks, if you'd like more information, you can always go to centralfloridasports.com or check out our radio show as well on WLKF at 5 o'clock. And that's 1430 AM, 96.7 FM. Great opportunity to hear some very special guests, celebrities, and so on. This is Mark Jackson for Neal Duncan and the superb crew at PGTV. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Our next live show, May 27th. We'll see you again next time.